Thank you so much for coming on our show. This is the Shoemaker Films podcast. And we're here with Thaddeus and Gabrielle of Yo Coffee Drive-Thru in Media, PA. So thanks for coming on, guys.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
Yeah,
Thanks
we're
for
in
having
this
us.
beautiful space here. We're at the time of this drop-in might be a couple of days out when you guys are opening. Tell us a little bit about, the dream here that you guys are building and your vision for Yo Coffee Drive-Thru.
Yeah, thanks. So we kind of got the original idea by visiting out west. We had been around to the Pacific Northwest especially, and out there it's pretty prevalent to have drive-through coffee kiosks, and they're like on every block. And although there's a lot of coffee drinkers in this area, there's no real convenient drive-through besides if you want to go to one of the corporate chains or something like that. And we really don't like their coffee, so we figured that with being able to bring some great coffee and the convenience into the area, but we also wanted to have a little bit of funky atmosphere and kind of like a more West Coast good vibe than maybe some of the some of the other stuff that's around. So we wanted to have something that wasn't just a cut and dry standard subway tile white coffee shop. So Gabrielle kind of took over for that, and we renovated from there.
And I think, we want it to be an experience. The whole brand is an experience, and it's not just about getting coffee, to get the coffee because you have to. You want to go to Yo Coffee every morning because you're like excited about it and it feels good and the people are friendly and there's great music playing. So why not? Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Unless I'm picking the playlist, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it depends like who's in charge of the music, but we'll figure that out. Yeah.
That's so cool. So has this been like a dream of yours to open up a coffee place for a long time, or what's
yeah, I'd say for probably about a decade we've been thinking about it, but we kind of weren't in the position to be able to do so. Yeah. And so kind of think everything aligned, and we were in the process of searching for a location that would fit. And to be honest, we had a lot of trouble getting anybody to even respond to our requests. And so I was just happened to be driving by this old Swiss Farms one day, and it had been off the market for a while, and it was back on the market. And so I immediately called Gabrielle and was like, "Oh my God, I think this was like this. It's back on. Like it's the one I called." And they're like, "Well, the realtor's out of the office." And so I was like, "Well, I'm just going to drive to your office." So I drove to the office in Newtown Square. I was like, "I need the brochure of this. Here's my name, here's my number, here's my email. Like, I'm very interested." In oh, that's crazy because no one else is.
Go figure.
But for us, it was the perfect location because
and we were so afraid someone else.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Oh, what if somebody snakes it for us?" They're like, "Yeah, there's not been a lot of action on this one." And so but it was perfectly set up already for the drive-through. So rather than having to build from scratch, we also love the idea of taking something that's a little bit older and renovating it and bringing it back to life. And so this has been like a kind of a pillar in the community. So we have people stopping by all the time who are very excited for us to open, not as excited as we are to open, but they're very excited to kind of bring this back to life and kind of create a new environment and a new little area for people to hang out and they can walk up and grab a cup of coffee on the one side, or if others want to drive through on the other side. We're kind of creating both a hybrid of kind of best of both worlds, we hope. So that's the intent.
Yeah. And awesome. I think before this, Thad was literally calling like the Granite Run Mall and local like Springfield Mall, like, "Hey, you have a lot of area out there. How do you feel about talking to me about developing like a kiosk? We'll build it from the ground up." Nobody was interested. They were like, "No way, that'll never work. There's no way we would ever do that." And so I think the mentality here is way different than it is on the West Coast. They just don't get the drive-through coffee kiosk idea with like the independent ownership. And I think that's really important for us. And hopefully with this, people will like understand it.
Yeah.
And we have some friends who own a couple kiosks down in Florida, and they originally started at Dutch Brothers out west.
Okay.
And so we actually got the espresso machine from them as they had kind of moved to a more automated machine.
Yeah.
And they're like some old family friends, and so we had been talking with them, and we said, they're doing great down there, and they said they had the exact same kind of growing pains, where they took them a year and a half to even get a location that would allow them to build their first one. And now that they've moved and they started franchising, that people are begging them to put them in because nobody was used to the idea yet of having the kind of drive-through concept where you would take like just a part of a parking lot and you would put in something small, and it's just it's an easy, quick grab the coffee. But they have got it there again, similar to what we're doing here. They try to create a great environment and bring people back with a good attitude and we want to brighten people's day, and that's kind of the whole gist of what we're going for.
That's awesome. Yeah, tell us a little bit about the coffee itself.
Yeah, so we're working with the local roaster, Burlap and Bean, based in Media, and they've been great, and they've been very patient with us for our long build-up, and they've really like helped us. We kind of went through some different blends to see what we like, what we don't like, and while they're all good, there were some just some tasting notes we liked with the better, as Gabrielle had. She said, well, this one had the best mouth feel. So, but
and it turned out they had put together a Yo Coffee blend for us.
Oh, nice.
And so we sat with that for a little while, and we've been drinking Burlap and Bean for as long as we've lived in the area. So over 10 years, basically. And their heritage blend is like their house blend. It's what they serve every day at the shop. And that's just our favorite. And so at the end of the day, I was kind of like, you know what? We really just want to serve your heritage blend. So we kind of like said no to the Yo Coffee blend for now. And we're just going to run with that because it's the best.
It's the best,
yeah. And so we're going to get their espresso beans as well. And then also the decaf. So a little bit of everything.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Gab, the vibe in here is phenomenal, I have to say. So can you tell me a little bit about like your inspiration there?
Yeah. So we go to New Orleans a lot. We love it just for like a quick weekend because any more than like 2 or 3 days, we'll just die from eating and drinking like so much. Like if you've been to New Orleans, it is like really indulgent, right? So it's all about that. Anyway, one of our favorite coffee shops is in New Orleans, and it's called IU Bakehouse. And their interior is just like breathtaking. And it's kind of like an Adobe style stucco countertop wall vibe with exposed like pine beams that are really ornate. And so that was really the inspiration for the interior. IU Bakehouse, look it up. Their food and coffee is like the bomb. And they don't do the chicory coffee, which is like the New Orleans thing. I'm not into that.
Yeah.
And so the colors, I mean, I basically stole these sort of like Adobe peachy pinks from IU Bakehouse and then just thought about, where coffee beans come from, right? And so these are banana leaves, but I think I wanted it to be, feel really like funky in that way. So, yeah. And I just kind of like found one thing and then threw a bunch of other stuff with it. And I think this is what happened. So.
I love it. It came together perfectly. It's like, it feels like really warm, but super cool at the same time. Yeah.
Thanks. And we really wanted to, like, the old Swiss farm store was just all red and white, red and white everything. And the outside of the building still reflects that, but we're cool with that. It's just the inside had to be very different.
Yeah.
So.
One of our older neighbors described the inside of this as mid-century rainforest.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That was really good. Yeah.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
And
Amazing.
the building, it opened in 1958, the original Swiss Farms. And so I was also, paying an homage to that, to the mid-century vibe, right?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to stick with the design aesthetic that would speak to the exterior and the whole, origin of the building, if you will. Yeah.
Which is super cool. I mean, like, born and raised in this area, like Swiss Farms is like, a staple here. So like the nostalgia of that is super cool, but it's like so fun being in, because you can never go into the Swiss Farms.
No,
before.
right,
so
right.
Like that's,
And I think it was so utilitarian, right? And so that's part of why I think we wanted to change it. We want to welcome people. And even when you're driving through, I want you to look in and be like, oh man, I want to go in there.
Right.
And you can, you can go to the other side and walk up another day, right?
Yeah.
So,
that's
have
awesome.
like a little patio going on out here.
That's right.
And,
Some outdoor seating.
That's
and
great.
so it's really small also, as you can see. There isn't a whole lot of room. So unfortunately, we can't invite customers to stay inside, but they're more than welcome to hang out under the awning over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Cool. Are you guys planning to paint the outside at all? I think you mentioned you're going to keep it for now.
We're gonna keep everything as we can. And as you saw when you were in the silo, which is incredible because everyone wants to know what's in the silo.
Yeah.
It turns out nothing's in the silo. There's no, again,
Extension ladders.
People have all these ideas.
Ladders are in the silo.
It's
Really tall ladders are in the silo.
This property has like a lure around it, like the Tasmanian or like the Jersey Devil or something, right? Like where they're like, well, the silo used to be where they stored all the like it used to be a freezer. I'm like, no, it didn't. They're like, yes, it was. I'm like, it definitely was not a freezer. I'm like, they stored chips in there. Like, there's signs that say where to load all the chips in. And yesterday, somebody was arguing with me about that when I was waiting to get a cheesesteak across the street. And I'm like, well, we have a giant walk-in. So that might be what you're thinking of, is they have a giant refrigerator there. And he's like, no, there's definitely the silo. But I can assure you there's no infrastructure in the silo to do any kind of freezing or chilling of anything. But we use it right now for storage. And so hopefully in the future we can maybe come up with something interesting to do with it. But it's totally hollow inside. And it's really neat because you can see all the way to the top. And it's really a cool thing. And people, when we first moved into this space, they're like, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to knock it down? We're like, no, it's a beacon. Yeah.
So, it's like free advertising.
Right, totally. Right. So we've got some large signs that Swiss Farms had an original sign here. We actually got from a building next door they found in the back, and it's a huge metal sign that was made for the silo. Yeah. And so we were able to replicate that. We had a friend who's a fabricator in Philadelphia make us 2 additional signs that we're going to use for branding for Yo Coffee, but we have all the dimensions because I don't like going up on very high ladders, so I didn't have to go up and measure anything, so it was perfect. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah,
I think you could probably figure out something fun to do with it.
Yeah.
One of my friends actually suggested, so I have a full-time job. We both have full-time jobs, I should say that. I run an art gallery at a college in the city, and one of my friends was like, oh my God, you got to turn this into a mini art gallery. And I'm like, okay. It's really small, but we could do like small works in there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like have an open door and just do a little round. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Just we would just have to, slap some sheetrock up and then you have a It I don't know.
Right?
Just when I thought all the projects were done.
Yeah.
Now, play right back in.
Yeah. It never stops, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So, what's been the journey like, as you're starting to renovate this place? Any, hiccups along the way or any challenges?
Yeah, a lot. So, having not gone into a full-scale renovation like this, so I've renovated some houses and built out an Airbnb that we have, just a small unit. But that was from new construction, so it was way different than coming into something that's been built on since the 60s and improved and unimproved and sat and used for a totally different purpose. So we didn't even know what we were getting into when we first started it. So I mean, to an extent, but when we realized that there was no water lines or drain or anything, so we had to literally pull all the floor up, jackhammer a trench all the way from here all the way through to the main sewer line. We had, there was lots of permits and all kinds of inspections and that kind of stuff that we've had to go through. And then, dealing with, and all of our contractors have been great, but it's just the timing of everyone else, not our timing. Yeah. So we're ready to go and chomping at the bit, and everyone else is going, well, yeah, I'll be there. I can make it in 3 weeks, and they're there in 4 weeks, and then, and then you're waiting for everybody, and you can't move to one step until this step's done. And then sometimes you have to go back and redo a step, right? Where, something might not have been right. And so you got to pull somebody back. And then, it's also kind of like phased in that we, some of the stuff we brought in, and then we weren't ready to pull the water lines over because the cabinets weren't done, and then we weren't ready to bring the espresso machine up because we didn't have the water lines run, and then it's been a learning curve for sure. And then we also had this giant walk-in, and we were like, what are we going to do with this? And so we were able to reuse we have this retro Mystic cooler. From the old drink from the 90s. And so that's gonna be kind of a little grab and go for teas and kombucha and stuff like that.
Nice.
And so, but like even that, like we got that and repurposed it. But of course, one of the glass seals was busted, so that's out for repair right now. And so it's like everything. It's every time you're like, all right, we got ahead, and it's like, no, you didn't. Like, come on back. So, but it's been really fun, and it's just it's trying to learn patience. And setting the expectation that we're doing the best we can, and you can't really get mad, and you just gotta keep going forward and just keep going as fast as you can, but temper it with we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah. Like when we got the property in October, we were like, oh, we're definitely open in the new year, like January. Oh my God, we'll be open in January. And then we were like February. Then we were like maybe March. Now we're like, we're definitely opening in April.
It's going to be in the next couple weeks, definitely.
Like we're opening. But to Thad's point, all of that stuff just piles up and you don't have control over it. And so a lot of the unknowns are the hiccups, I think, just and being ready and prepared to just be patient with the fact that you don't have control. You just don't have control over so many things.
Right.
Yeah.
and then it's all the other stuff that you don't ever think. I would never even have thought of, just like, all right, well, how are we going to set up our payroll? How are we going to do the, you know, the insurances, and then all these other, just so many different like paperwork nightmares, and then like dealing with the state for tax and all this different stuff, and setting it up for everything. So that's been like a pretty interesting stuff. We've got like some great friends helping us in different facets of that with accounting and stuff like that. So that's been really great. But it's also just a million people asking you for money and things, right?
Right.
So like, it's just, you're like, well, how much? Everything I have to pay for everything? Like, and we didn't even sell anything yet. So but that's it's overall it's been really fun, and so we're hopeful that everybody's going to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's like a coffee shop is such a community thing, right?
Yeah.
And I think, we were talking about it a little bit, like, in the city, it's on the corner, people can walk in, but in the suburbs, it's a little bit different. So having a drive through, I think is awesome. And we have 2 kids, so I feel like we have like Starbucks and McDonald's, so that we can go to. Maybe Chick-fil-A, but like, you got to try for that. So
so we're trying to have a better coffee.
Yes.
And then we're going to roll out some stuff that the kids will like too. So some to eat. And we're hopefully going to get
dog friendly. Bring your dogs.
Cups and all that.
So, if you have a cat and they like whipped cream out of a pup cup,
we got you covered too.
They can come. Come on in.
That's amazing.
Birds, I don't know. Pets. We're pet friendly.
I can see
Yeah,
totally.
So the plan is to have really great coffee,
That's
and
right.
then what's the plan for food too?
So the food is going to be rolled out a little bit later. We're working on that, and I think we have a couple of local vendors who have their own like little scratch kitchens out of their like homes. And so one of which is called Jenny's Buns here in Media, and she does fresh cinnamon buns, and she'll hopefully supply us on the weekends. And then we're working with somebody else who has a place called Spite Curiosities, and he does a lot of like sourdough based pretzels, scones, cookies, and a lot of really great sweets. And so he again wouldn't be able to supply us every day. It would be like a couple of days out of the week. And then as filler, we're working with a French bakery in Narberth who will do danishes and croissants. So we're trying to keep it really, it's got to be fast, right? You're coming through the drive-through. We don't have time to do food prep. We also don't have space to do much food prep. So it'll be kind of grab and go stuff. And down the line, we have a really, our plan is to be able to do breakfast burritos. A heartier sort of, a different thing than anybody else is doing. We don't want to be like everybody else, right? But to start, I think we don't really have the capacity. We're talking to people, and it's going to be maybe a couple of months before we get the burrito thing rolling. But we're working on it.
That's awesome. Yeah. I could totally see our little guys getting all those baked goods. Yeah,
for sure.
Burrito,
They will.
Who doesn't love a burrito, right?
Yeah.
And they're Spite. They do a great job, and he just works he converted his garage into a like inspected food prep. So he made his garage into a
commercial kitchen.
So it's really cool.
That's
out of his house, and so he does a really, really good job, and he's a great guy. And but he does some really funky stuff, and does like just some amazing tomato pie variations and stuff. Like it's just really
sesame
good.
seed crust, like really good stuff.
Yeah. I feel like back to like the community aspect of like a coffee shop, it's like super cool that you're working with like all local vendors too. It's all really local.
I think that's a big part of it. Is the really, like you said, the community is really important, and we want everybody to feel like they're a part of Yo Coffee.
Right.
I get back to that brand experience. So that's really important. And I think for the kombucha, I mean, we're going to try to find somebody local to work with us on that. So like any opportunity we have to do that, we will.
Yeah. That's super cool. Yeah.
Where did Yo Coffee come from? How'd you come up with that?
That was all Thad. Yeah.
So we were coming back from from Missoula, Montana, visiting a friend, and we had the property, and we were on. It was like Labor Day, or was it Labor Day last year?
Yeah, it was Labor Day.
Yes, I mean we might not sign the contract yet, but we were already in talks, and we're going, well, what can we call it? We're like racking our brains, and I was cripplingly hungover on a plane coming home from vacation, and we're sitting there, and I was like, what can we do that's like a simple, like, just like but it's like Philly centric, but not necessarily just tied to Philadelphia, but it could, has a lot of different variation in it. I was like, yo. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, oh my God. And I leaned over the aisle, because we always sit across the aisle on the plane. Like,
I need that room. Yeah.
We can be close to each other. We don't have to be right next to each other. Right? And, I was like, oh my God, how about yo? And she's like,
also hungover.
We'll think about that. And I think by the end of the flight, she's like, that's pretty good.
I was like, that's it. It's yo coffee. That was it. That flight, that was it. Yeah.
Amazing.
And then awesome. And then on like the Uber ride home, I was like, like yo MTV raps, and then we started just spitballing like all
oh my gosh,
how many riffs we can do on yo, and so then that's kind of where like the identity. It came out of yo MTV raps. I'm gonna be honest with you, yeah. Like the whole the whole like Starburst thing, like
that is amazing.
It came out of that. I'll be honest, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it is Philly, but it's also kind of Delco.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
like it's catchy. Yeah.
Yo
coffee. Yeah.
And the logo is awesome.
Thanks. Yeah. And so we're trying to do a lot of different variations. We have we have like an eagle shirt. I got to do a gritty. I've done a gritty. We have some stickers. I'll give you some.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So and like having fun with it, just like keep changing it so that people come back. Like, what's the next shirt going to be? What's the next sticker going to be?
Like we took the silo
outside. Oh
my
God.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Did you guys design the logos, or do you work with a?
I do it all. So I have an art degree. Yeah, my BFA is in sculpture and printmaking, and so I do all of that. And I do a lot of that for my real job too. So I think I'm just like always working in Adobe, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So
nice.
And we're really excited about the letterboard out front, the old Swiss Farms letterboard.
Yep.
So I found a company that still makes like the plexiglass letters because we couldn't find any on site. I guess they got rid of them, or they cracked, or they broke, or something. And so they just came yesterday. So we're like really excited to put messages out there and be able to like welcome people with exciting, fun little jokes. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
just like mood boosting for everybody around.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
And we're still repairing the sign because like it was missing the top part of the marquee. And so we're working with a local
local glass company. So another like extension of what we thought we could do like that.
Right.
So there's
5 months later, that was our delay though. Yeah.
And so even though we're going to open, there are going to be things that are still happening just to get us where we want to be eventually, right? And so that's just going to take some time.
Yeah, I mean, nothing's ever going to be perfect, right?
No.
Sometimes you just got to jump in and...
let's get rolling, and then we'll figure out the kinks as we go.
Yeah. I feel like there's a beauty in that, though. Like, there's a beauty in kind of, like, the initial, like, imperfections, It feels, like, more real, more authentic,
Just don't blow us up online with bad reviews. We're working on it.
We are working on it. Yeah, that's our motto.
Yo coffee, we're working on it.
That's great.
That'll be our next shirt. I can do that.
That's a good one, actually. Yeah.
Work in progress.
Right.
That loading screen.
I feel like with like a yo coffee, no one can really come in here expecting like to be like too serious.
Right.
Totally.
So you're gonna have a good time. You're gonna get a great cup of coffee.
That's right. It's the whole and you keep saying the Yo Adrian. It's the
oh
Rocky
my gosh,
thing.
Yes.
Right.
So it has there's a lot. There's a lot going on there.
And in Spanish, be I am coffee.
Yeah. Yo.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
a lot of different ways.
It's not my coffee. It's yo coffee. There's we're workshopping a few things.
I like it. So are you guys local?
We live about 3 miles away, so we're pretty local. It's been really nice being convenient for just less than 10 minutes to the shop, so we can zoom in and out whenever, and so it turns out multiple times a day is pretty frequent, so it's nice. We love the area. We've been in Delco for about 10 years, and we just love media. We love all the people, and it's just really convenient to the city, to the airport, and then we've got roots out I'm out in Chester County, and Gabrielle's out in Harrisburg area, so it's been nice to we're kind of able to get to everybody and see everybody and still be local to where we live and love. So
I guess tell us like a little bit about some of like the drinks you're going to serve. Like you talked about kind of like where the beans are coming from and all of that, but tell us like a little bit about like some of the flavors of the coffee.
Sure. I mean, I think we're working on the menu. That's a work in progress. So I think we're going to be discovering a lot of things as we teach ourselves how to use the espresso machine.
Yeah.
We're new to this. And thankfully, Burlap and Bean is going to help us, get started and understand sort of the science a little bit better. And so, your base, we're going to have your basic chalk, your mocha, your vanilla, your salted caramel. We have a toasted marshmallow that we're working with that I think is really good. So that's exciting. And then your typical seasonal stuff, right?
Yeah.
People like their pumpkin spice. And I think we're just, we don't have it all laid out yet, but I think we're going to work through it. And, we're not making our own syrups to start, but I think that's something we want to do is do house-made syrups for all of those different flavors.
Nice.
And so, your lattes, your cappuccinos, your macchiatos, cortados, anything, I hate to say it, you would see like on Starbucks menu,
Yeah.
right? It's kind of, you have to say it.
Yeah,
That's
all
like
the favorites
that's
will
the
be here.
standard.
Yeah.
Spin on it,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
It's true. Yeah. How
So-
did you guys get into coffee?
Well, we've always been lovers of coffee, and I mean, one of our greatest, thrills going every time we go on vacation. Every morning we go to a different, almost always to a different coffee shop. But like when we go to New Orleans, we go to the
I
same
only go
shop.
to
Right,
Bakehouse. Yeah.
Yeah, but we like love just going to different coffee shops and just having a nice coffee and either even if we just get it to go because we're gonna go somewhere like we're gonna go for a walk or a hike or go we try to find what has like a great coffee shop and look around online and see what's got great reviews and then look at the pictures of the insides like, oh, this looks cool. So for us I think like it's really important just to start our day off with a kind of that positive vibe and like that just like all right like now we can go do what we're gonna do but I just life's too short to drink like a crappy cup of coffee in the morning.
True.
I agree with that. Yeah, 100%.
It's true.
It is
yeah.
so true.
And we like every morning grind the beans, do the whole thing, and we have like a nice Chemex maker. So the ritual and the process is important too. When we're at home, but we'll probably just have coffee here every morning now because it is so close to home.
Yeah.
Like my ritual and process, I can just throw it out the window probably. But I think it's always just been a part of our partnership. Just the morning process. The coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
say we're big fans of coffee.
We are.
Yeah, we drink a lot of coffee.
A
in
lot.
the morning.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and a lot of the people are we're doing stuff like the matcha lattes and,
Yes.
We'll have a
chai
lot of
lattes stuff like
non-coffee
that
drinks.
because
Right,
of
a lot of people
course.
go, well, I don't drink coffee. I'm like, well, we're also going to have this too. And
Yeah.
we're going to do some like Italian sodas and stuff so kids can get involved. No caffeine,
Love.
but
Yeah.
like
Nice.
blue raspberry, they'll love it because the tongue turns blue.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like a water ice, but
Right.
without the
Yeah.
water ice
That's
texture.
good.
It's
Yeah.
just like the
Yeah.
flavor in the club
Yeah.
soda over ice. Yeah.
That's
Whipped cream,
awesome.
Whipped cream, everybody.
And of
loves.
course,
Yeah.
we'll have like, decaf and non-caffeinated drinks. So a little bit of everything for everyone. But obviously the focus is on the caffeine and the coffee.
That
Right?
is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
I wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So kind of a personal question, but I feel like as we've been chatting, like you guys travel a lot, Is that, tell me a little bit about
Well, not
that.
anymore.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's one of the things it's been the most, trying to get to the realization like, okay, well, we would almost travel once a month via plane somewhere. So we spend a lot of time in Charleston, South Carolina visiting family. But we, go on international trips and visit a lot of friends out west and just all over, and so, that's going to be one of the things we have to reel back in a little bit. But also some of the travel has inspired like what we're doing here via,
of course,
just the design and the aesthetic and all of that. And, we,
for sure.
we love the ability to kind of go places. So hopefully once we get everything running, we'll be back kind of to at least some extent. So
we don't have any children, so we have a lot of flexibility. And I think the travel for us it's just a lifestyle, for so long.
Nice.
And, we try to do 2 international trips a year if we can, but that hasn't been happening recently because of this, obviously.
Yeah.
But, even getting away, like I said, to New Orleans for a couple of days is really great and like a nice reset for us, just to step away from work and, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it feels so cool. Like you've been able to pick up different things from all the different places you've been,
Yeah,
you get a feel
exactly.
for that here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to hopefully go away in early June for his birthday, but we'll see.
Nice.
We're kind of like, it's so uncertain. We just
When's
can't
your birthday?
plan anything.
June 3rd.
All right, I'm June 8th.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gemini.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Do you have a couple places in mind or?
Well, we might just go to Charleston to visit his family because, again, we can't really plan anything. And that's just an easy, we have a place to stay. We know where we're going. It's easy to get in and out of.
But our next big trip that I've told Gabrielle that when we have this able to step away a little bit, is our next trip is going to be southern Spain and Morocco. So that's like the
my
highest
gosh.
Sweet.
Yeah. So Spain is
cool.
like one of my favorite places. I love Portugal too. We had a really great time in Lisbon, but we did Barcelona and San Sebastian a while back, and I'm like, I just got to go back to Spain. It's so gorgeous. Yeah. So I'm excited.
I was actually my sister, who went to
Annie,
high school with me. Which is why we just figured that out.
Hi, Annie.
She studied abroad in, I'm trying to think of the city now. It's in southern Spain, but we went over and visited her. I was in high school at the time.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful over there.
I just can't wait. And
Malaga and the Rock of Gibraltar and stuff.
yeah,
It's pretty sweet.
I want to do Madrid. Yeah, a lot of the TV shows that I watch are like Spanish soaps. So I'm like, to live it. I want to live it. Yeah.
Nice.
That's cool. Yeah. Where are some of the other places?
On the list, well, so we were scheduled to go to, or where have we been, or where are we going?
Both, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we've been all around France. We loved that. Like Nice was really neat because it's on the east coast and it's just like tropical. I mean, just really really cool. And then we loved Ireland. We had a great time.
Oh, Ireland
there.
was great. We did like a road trip around Ireland, and that was awesome. You know,
Nice.
driving on the right-hand side stick manual, which was like, it took a few minutes, but we got the hang of it. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But Italy is high on the list. We just, maybe next year. I don't know if we can swing it. But
and we went down to Argentina and Chile, which was a great one too. So we got to we went from Buenos Aires to
Mendoza,
Ooh.
and that's like their Napa. So
Yes.
we go, it's like
Mendoza
the
was
east side of the
beautiful.
Andes, and so it's just beautiful. And you'd be there and you're eating in like a vineyard, and it's like $75 US for like a 7-course lunch, right? With like filet and whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, do you want the upgraded wine pairing? And I'm like, ooh, this is years ago too. We're like, ooh, how much is that? They're like, it's like $8 US. You're like, yes. Yeah. We'll take that.
It would have cost $600 in Napa.
Oh, right?
All in, we were like $200, and it was one of the best meals like we've ever had. It was so
my God.
good.
Yeah, I feel like that's like my dream.
Mendoza, Mendoza is beautiful for sure. And then we flew over to Valparaiso, Chile, which is kind of like a little bit like a San Francisco, a little bit. A lot of dogs everywhere. All the street dogs have names and neighborhoods.
Yeah, like
signs
this
everywhere.
dog lives in this block.
No way.
Yeah. You have to watch where
Watch
you're
where you
walking,
step,
obviously.
Yeah.
It was a cool, that was a cool experience. Very different, just, But we tried to go to Hungary and Poland, the motherland, and that got canceled for the
2020.
2020.
So,
Couldn't do that, so that sucked.
Yeah.
But so that got bumped down a little bit. We were kind of like sour.
That was my pick, and her pick was southern Spain. So obviously we're going to southern Spain.
Right? That's how it works.
Yeah, we had it all planned out, and I was kind of like, well, I can't revisit that so soon. So it got dropped down, and we'll cycle it through, but not for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just went last year to Sedona, which was our trip we had planned.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Like right when COVID happened, and then it got canceled. But it was awesome.
It was hiking and
awesome. Yeah. It's beautiful out
Desert,
there.
It was so nice. It was like so
It's
calm.
great.
Yeah.
Well, what's it like working together, husband? You guys are married.
Yes, we are. Yeah,
I don't think we confirmed that. Okay, yeah.
No, we got married in 20.
I guess we are.
Yeah.
When did we get married? I don't remember. I don't know. 2014.
Okay.
We bought the house in 2013. Got married a year later.
Got it.
Yeah. So we are married. It'll be 10 years this October, I guess.
Nice.
We don't even pay attention.
Yeah.
Well, what's it like starting a business together, husband and wife? I mean,
it's great.
It's great.
There's no issues at all. Do it. Just do it. Especially if your marriage is shaky at all, definitely get into it because it'll be you'll have a great time. But no, we're like best friends, so it's we can kind of vent at each other at times, but it's like not it's nothing just it's frustration when but you just go, all right, well, let's get back to work.
Yeah.
You're not gonna sit here and mope around so there's a lot of but it's a lot of fun too. But there, definitely it's difficult to do either way, but it's great having a partner with you that you can be like, okay, well, I would think this. Well, I think that. And you're like, all right, let's talk about it. And you come, okay, well, maybe this makes more sense or that makes more sense. And then just having somebody to help bear the burden of everything, right?
Yeah.
And we're doing it all the time together, which I think like is helpful. It would be different with a business partner, right? Because you're not like with them all the time. You can't just have these aha moments and call them in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
But I think that's like a benefit to us is that we have that like always together, always doing this, you know, thing
always
to the same end.
Always.
Right. But I think, you know, in a way that's a good every single day.
Never stops.
Yeah.
In a way, I think that, you know, that's a good thing in a way. So that's been helpful. And, you know, we have the same end in sight, or the same vision and the same goals. And so I think that makes it a little bit easier. Yeah.
I feel like we can totally relate to that. And I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I like totally appreciate what you're saying, because it is like those times where you're like making dinner or like emptying the dishwasher and you're like, you know what we should do? And they're like the moments, and then it turns into like a full-fledged conversation, like strategy session. And then you're like, it's that spontaneity that you need to lean
and we
into.
try to have like date nights every once in a while, and then we get into a whole conversation about, all right, this is what we're gonna do next.
Let's try to be good about it. We're like, don't
let's do that.
Yes,
And a lot of it's exactly the same with us. And you don't get that, like I said, with somebody you're not with all the time,
right?
Or, you know.
Right.
So
Yeah.
And then you're sitting here Googling how to start a podcast. I'm like, how do I grind the beats? Yeah.
Sometimes you got to build the plane as you go, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Exactly.
We're trying.
Yeah.
Well, your story is really inspiring. This place is awesome. We're really looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Getting opened up, and I'm sure neighborhood is as well.
Yeah.
Great.
You know, just really appreciate you guys taking the time here
Thank
Thank
today.
you for having us. We're really excited, and it's great to be here. And I hope you all come and get some coffee.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well,
Thank
thanks
you,
for having
guys.
us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Cheers. Yo, coffee.
Yo, coffee. Awesome.
Great.
Thanks for listening today. Shoemaker Lab is an original production by Shoemaker Films, LLC. If you enjoyed today's content, please consider subscribing on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your content. Follow us on Instagram at shoemaker.films. And if you're a business that's either interested in our video production services or would like to be a guest on the show, get in touch by using the contact form on our website, shoemakerfilms.com.